Reincarnated. What is up, you guys? It's AJ, and today we're going to talk about a past life of mine, or rather the transition between that past life and now. And well, in my past life, I was a storyteller, gambler, womanizer, a rude boy of the old school, a classic PIMP type, you know. Um, Living in that artistic rock star type lifestyle, expression, rebellion, a lot, not so long ago, to a point that would surprise a lot of people who know me now. In some ways, um, in other ways, the mask does crack from time to time. Um, the mask does crack, and the beast in me is caged by frail and fragile bars, as Johnny Cash so elegantly put it. Um, God help the beast in me. Oh, and he says in that song, that everybody knows. They've seen him out dressed in my clothes, patently unclear if it's New York or New Year. Enough about Johnny Cash. Relatable lyrics. if you, yeah, if you have a dark side to you, you know that those like that everybody knows. They've seen him outstretched in my clothes. You know what those bars like mean, really. Um, and so this is one perspective that I had the other day. I was watching Good Will Hunting, and in the introspection of all of that, and the perspective of that character, I saw some of him in me, and this is what the him in me had to say. I gave up writing and poetry so that I could be an observer, a man with a profound opinion on ideas rather than allowing others to see the depths of me, especially not myself, because I'm afraid to find out what's in there and made anxious by my inability to make sense of it all. I hide behind a mask of confidence, being careful not to utter the words, but very much meaning, I know it all. When the truth is, I don't know a thing, and it scares me. Careful not to let anyone in, because maybe they'll find out that I'm clueless too. It's true, I grasp things quickly. I'm able to improvise and add charisma to hide the ignorance. If I let anyone too close, they'll know. And so I don't have close friends, a partner, write, nor do poetry anymore. Just observe, then articulately comment as time marches on, hiding, afraid. That's certainly one perspective. That's certainly one way of looking at it. The truth is, it is much more complicated than that, but there's certainly a deep truth in the words that I wrote not too long ago. Yesterday, I wrote that yesterday. Um, and so yeah, I don't want to keep you here for too long, or cover it up with too much, because that is the crux of the reincarnation, is realizing and coming to terms with a part of the truth, because there is much more context to it, and there's a lot of growth that happen as a result of not just giving up those things, but giving up a lot that was in that lifestyle. Not that lifestyle specifically, but what that lifestyle meant. I may have used, say, for example, writing in poetry as the perfect metaphor for the life that I used to lead, who I used to be, versus who I am now. It's a commentary on the way that art reflects reality and reality reflects the art in a sense, because it's not exactly the transition from writing, doing poetry to being an observer, um, that marks that's like a landmark or the landmark in my life where I feel like I shifted from a certain lifestyle to a different lifestyle. But certainly that is the perfect metaphor, and the timelines do coincide for that to make sense. You get me? So it is essentially me saying I gave up digging into me because I was afraid of what I'd find and I was afraid of what I would expose. And so instead of doing that, I hide behind a mask of confidence. I put on this facade and, stick the chest up, smile wide, execute, and deliver in the moment, and do it over and over again to the point where you start to believe yourself too. But the truth of the matter still remains that at the end of the day, although you do you do grasp these things quickly, you are able to get in these moments, get in these rooms that you don't belong in, get in these spaces you have no business being in, and you execute as if you belonged. And yet you do not explore the depths of your own self, and there is something in you that is so afraid of some other part of you that you choose instead to numb it. You choose instead to hide behind the substances. You choose instead to drown yourself in the women. Before, that's what it was before for me. I chose to drown myself in the women. And then when the situation didn't allow for that to be the case, or when I got bored of that, when that just wasn't doing or hitting it anymore, in a sense, or in a sense that I could responsibly do that, right, without risking anything, but just numb it. When that wasn't an option anymore, now I find myself leaning more on another crutch, which is substance. And so it's finding and understanding that there is a part of me that is deathly afraid of another part of me, and the the duality of these polar sides of the same person that is me is something that I do have to come to terms with, and I can't stay in that position where I'm hiding, I'm afraid. And so it is something worth exploring, right? Either on camera, off camera, whatever the case, but it's something that I'm definitely aware of. And I think a very big first step is acknowledging it and understanding it, and bringing it to light, because I think a lot of things operate in the realm of shame and darkness, and they grow and they maybe get blown out of proportion even within ourselves, because you've hidden it. And so you start getting in your own head about, wait, if I've hidden this, then how bad is it really? Is it worse than I think? Because why would I not? Does that make sense? And so I think just being able to put it out there is at least somewhat a step, somewhat a step in the right direction, when it comes to being able to understand it and make sense of it all. You know, yeah. Oh, I hope it helps someone. Maybe someday. Maybe not today. Maybe someday 5, 10 years in the future, someone's going to be going back to, going back through my catalog and see this one video entitled Reincarnated, and they'll think to themselves, man, what's he talking about here? What does he mean by that? And so, yeah, I'm ended at that. If you did in fact enjoy it, please hit that subscribe button. I have been Sage, standing on business. Signing off.